And welcome back to the live stream, guys. This time we are here for the qualifying session ahead of the Monaco Grand Prix. Potentially could be the most exciting qualifying session of the season. Traffic probably going to be a key factor. Again, I'm JW97, and again, just like in practice, I'm joined by Rahul Patel.
Hello.
Indeed. So, obviously, if you just missed the practice session, we had, ironically, Rahul Patel, the Red Bull test driver, top the session from the two Ferraris of Loa Chong and Joseph Wells, of course. Obviously, he was in place of Franco Garbo as Rahul Patel, but Franco Garbo, of course, be back in the Red Bull, as will Armar Kar in the Mercedes, of course, because Rifki Fakhrizadeh had his booked practice session here at Monaco. So we will be seeing Armar Kar back in the car for qualifying here at Monaco. Of course, Armar Kar looking to become the third back-to-back Monaco Grand Prix winner. But he's looking to see if he can make it back-to-back poles here. Of course, Armar took pole position here last season after quite an amazing qualifying session for him, topping all three qualifying sessions. Renjian's even quoting it as a lap of the gods, his qualifying lap, it must be said. So I wonder if he'll want to have another lap of the gods this time about. Obviously, we are waiting for Yuri at the moment because he's gone to get a little bit of food as he's a little bit hungry. It must be said he is starving a bit. So do bear with him. He will be back in just a tick to get rid of the graphic. But what are you expecting going into this qualifying session, Rahul?
Unpredictability.
Hopefully, indeed, especially with the traffic as well, which could impact people going through. Obviously, we have an 18-minute qualifying session, and we know that the cars do like to go out at the same time in qualifying, so there is no excuse for anybody to go out, but it's about trying to get out at the right time, especially given how short the track is, and given that traffic is going to be a big thing around here. Maybe we could be in for a shock elimination in Q1, maybe even in Q2 as well, as there is still 16 cars that take part in that session. We will have to wait and see. But the graphic is off, and as you can see, there is no rain for qualifying. Yuri is back from getting his food. So anyway, I think without further ado, let's get into Q1. So leave your predictions, guys, on who you think are going to get knocked out in Q1. You could be quite bold if you want to, especially given the nature of Monaco, especially given that traffic is probably going to be a thing around here. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe not so much in Q3, but Q1 and Q2, you're guaranteed with that. Anyway, we are in the pit lane. We were just in the cockpit there of Martinez as we wait for drivers to make their way out on the racetrack. A reminder to anybody who missed out in practice, we are, of course, still using the 1993 version of Monaco because the modern Monaco doesn't work that well in terms of the AI behavior, basically. I know that it can produce sometimes in boy races here, but it's better than having a race that causes Yuri to have another headache or pull his own hair out. But anyway, Felix Sontag is going to be the first car to come out onto the racetrack. I am aware, of course, that the current Monaco, which has the new chicane, I think is currently in development. So whether that one will work out in the future when that gets released, we'll have to wait and see. As Sontag makes his way through Casino, through the right-hander he goes, and he'll make his way down towards Mirabeau, and he's joined by a few cars. Of course, you've got to get out at the right time to ensure you don't get held up in traffic, because I think that's going to be a key around here, especially in Q1 and Q2. They could be in for some shock eliminations. As Sontag now then through Portier, as he now goes into the tunnel, and he will now approach the seafront chicane, as maybe if anybody is brave enough to go for an overtake on this track, it might be down into there. They also probably need to hope that people make mistakes around here. It is very easy to make a mistake here in Monaco, given how close the barriers are. We saw in practice as well, Joseph Willows crashing out at this particular corner, in fact, where Felix Sontag is. Whether we will see that in this qualifying session or even during the race as well tomorrow, we will have to wait and see. But it is the first of 3 Crown Jewel races, hopefully 3 if Le Mans works at the end of the season on GTR2, because of course next week we have the Indy 500, and anybody wondering the driver lineup for that, the driver lineup for the Indy 500 will be revealed on Thursday, so a day after the Monaco Grand Prix, so be on the lookout for that. As Sontag has just started his lap as he makes his way up the well out of the exit.
Thursday or Friday.
Thursday or Friday, one of those 2 days. You will get it before the weekend. So we're now through the casino bit. Obviously, I was about to say that Felix came out of Saint-Devote there, a name that I kept forgetting during practice. Through Mirabeau then goes Felix Sontag, as he now makes his way out of the end of the first sector. The sector points are a little bit different to real life. I don't know if this was the case in real life when they used this version of Monaco back in the 90s and early 2000s, but it is what it is. A 23.418 for Sontag in the first sector there, as you can see, as he's in the tunnel now through the right-hander, as he'll now make his way down towards the Nouvelle chicane. And so through the left, then into the right. 41.629 in the second sector there for Felix Sontag. As now he makes his way through to back. And then into La Piscine, through the left, right, and then into the exit. Right and left. Obviously, it's a lot more curved than what it is in real life and a lot slower than what it is in real life. Into Raskas, of course, slower than real life as well because you've got this near 90-degree left-hander before it, unlike in real life when it got reprofiled in 2003. Through Anthony Nodes and down the pit straight. Let's see what the benchmarker time is going to be from Felix Sontag. Across the line, it's a 1:13.621. Here comes Jay McKenzie. He should in theory beat it, and he does by 1.8 seconds, a 1:11.748. A good time there from Jay McKenzie. Here comes Lee Campana. Across the line he will go. Of course, everybody on lighter fuel than practice, so we should expect a lot quicker lap times. Campana goes into second position. Motrin goes to the top. Here comes David Kipok in the Toro Rosso. Across the line goes the German, and he slots into third. Willow's getting held up there as we've got a yellow flag out on track. And where is that? That is at, where is it?
The casino, it's Sontag.
Sontag, he's got a mechanical failure just after his lap there. Catalan at the top. We saw that Willows and Carr, I believe it was, that got held up in traffic. Gallion only 4th. Gamba only 6th after that lap. But Sontag with a mechanical failure. It seems I couldn't quite see what it was on the steering wheel there. Hopefully we get to have a look as the problem. Let's see. So it was actually just after he finished his lap there, Rahal.
Yeah.
So, very, very lucky there. He must be said for Felix Sontag. Let's see what it was. That's the normal fuel indicator. That's not the one we're looking for. Let's see what it was. And it should come up very soon. He's got the problem now, and it is a suspension failure. So, a suspension failure has taken care of Felix Sontag then, as he's pulled off at the exit of the, well, at the beginning of the casino corner, it must be said. I think that part is called something else, actually. Well, the whole section of it is called Casino Square, so we'll just refer to it as that. We now, Verderi goes into 6th, here comes Evan Bird. Catalan is currently at the top, it must be said. He goes into 8th position, De Rosa into 5th. Lopez looked like he got held up there, he's in 3rd, but 300s off of Catalan. Here comes Titkov, who's now going across the line in the manner. 17th for him. 8th for Chung, got held up on her lap. Here comes Fosbury, across the line he will go. Goes into 13th. Tomaselli 12th. Roke in 11th there. Here comes Gomez, goes into 12th, and there you have it. So at the moment, thanks to the traffic, it is Catalan at the top by 200 a second ahead of Motrin, and then a further 100th ahead of Franco Lopez.
Yeah.
So what did you make of those first ones, Rahal?
Yeah, you could see that the traffic has cost a lot of big drivers times. Like Joseph Willows, he's down in 17th. He's in the elimination zone, and he has to get out of the traffic and hope that he gets a better time than this.
Indeed, he also got Gamba down in 15th. He'll be hoping he can avoid that elimination zone. Maybe he needs to get out and avoid some traffic as best he can as well, as everybody comes back into pit lane. And so that's that at the moment, as Campano is getting wheeled back into his box there. And just wheeled back into his garage. Obviously, these garages are a lot different than what they are nowadays in Monaco, because these garages are a lot smaller than what we have today, of course, which are a lot larger and is able to accommodate the teams a lot more than these ones did back in the day. So, but I guess it's a good way of rewinding the clocks in a way in terms of what the pit lane was like in real life back in the day. As Martinez will get wheeled back as we just wait for another set of cars to come out. We'll be seeing who'll be first to go out in the next set of runs. A lot of the guys, especially as we mentioned, Joseph Willows, and in fact it's Felix Sontag who's going out in the T car, who's going to be the first to come out onto the track again. So, as mentioned as well, the likes of Willows and Gamba will be hoping to avoid the traffic this time by and try and get a little bit more safer, especially Willows, who's currently in the drop zone at this point in time, along with Kupok, Campana, Martinez, Sontag and Titkov. As Sontag out of the casino he will go, and he's a long way ahead of everybody because, of course, he did obviously have the T car coming into an effect, so he's able to get out a lot sooner than everybody else. We'll be seeing a lot more people coming out, I think, a little bit later. I think I do see some activity, in fact, on the mini-map. So Sontag through into the tunnel he will go. He'll now make his way towards the chicane, as he will flick it through the left, then into the right, and then out of the corner he will go before heading towards the back. And obviously, the drivers will be hoping that they don't smack it into the wall. Again, apologies if you hear my dog in the background. Through into La Piscine, as he'll now make his way towards Raskas through the left, and then flicking it in through the right. As he'll now make it towards Anthony Nodes, flicking it through the right, down the hill he will go. As he'll now make his way down the pitch straight, and he will start his lap around about now. And luckily for him, no traffic on the exit, so he's able to get another clean lap in. And luckily for guys coming out, they'll hopefully not get held up by Felix Sontag. In fact, there's nobody actually behind him on that shot. Felix Sontag now then through into the Casino Square now then, through the left, and then flicking it in through the right. Obviously, that's where he pulled off a little bit earlier on with a suspension failure. Let's see what his first sector is like, and let's see if he can improve on his first sector from earlier. And he's 700ths up on his personal best in the first sector there, as he makes his way through the right hand. Currently on the back row, he'll be looking to see if he can get out of the back row if he can, and hoping that he doesn't end up in traffic. So far, he looks like he's going to be clear of the traffic, especially because that racing point is, I think, far enough ahead of him to not hold him up. Let's see what his second sector is like, and he's now 3 tenths up on his personal best in the second sector. So Sontag looking at a big improvement, it must seem, at the moment. Whether he can get himself out of the drop zone, we'll have to wait and see. It all depends on how he hooks up this last sector through into the swimming pool section now then, through the right, into the left, getting as close to the walls as possible. Basically nearly kissing him as much as he can to try and gain as much time as possible. Around Raskas we go now then, into Anthony Nodes, through the right, left, and then into this curved right-hander on the pit straight. Let's see what Sontag can do. Across the line, and he goes up to 17th. Not quite out of the drop zone, but he gets in front of Joseph Willows. Willows will be hoping he doesn't have any traffic this time by. Chung doesn't look like she's got traffic, so we might see a better time from her. As Kipok is up on his personal best in the middle sector. He was down on his personal best in the first sector, but he's now up on his personal best in the middle sector, and he needs to improve it. I think it was probably there where he got held up in the middle sector. He's currently in the drop zone, so he desperately needs to improve. Through the right, then into the left, and let's see what Kipok can do. Can he get his Toro Rosso out of the drop zone? Because this is probably where he got held up from the beginning of the second sector, from the end of the second sector, it must be said, was where he got held up earlier on. Kipok now then, the German, is going to cross the line, and he goes only up to 19th, so he was only able to improve slightly that time by. Here comes Rosetta Martinez in the Manor, and he doesn't improve. Campano improves, but only up to 20th. Willows goes up to 10th, so a much needed improvement for him. Not ideal, but at least he's far away from that drop zone, so he gets up into 10th. Here comes Evan Byrne. He's currently in 14th, and he goes up to 12th, so an improvement for him. Here comes Franco Lopez. He goes to the top of the timing sheets by 0.3 of a second. So Lopez goes to the top, beating Catalan. Here comes Jay McKenzie. No improvement for him. Motrin doesn't improve either. We now look at Andre Videri now then, who makes his way through into Anthony Nodes. Down the hill he goes. He's not on an improvement, it looks like. Videri currently finding himself in 9th position, so having an alright session. He doesn't improve. Carr, meanwhile, does improve. He goes up to 7th. As we now look at Fosbury. Chung again being held up that time by, and she doesn't improve. Chung, meanwhile, where is she? She's in 8th at the moment, so she's alright for the time being. Gomez doesn't improve. Here comes Chatfield. Across the line, no improvement for him. No, an improvement for Gal. Gal currently in 5th, so he's okay. Here comes Gamba, who also needs to improve as well. He's just on the cusp of Q2 at the moment. Here comes Gamba. Can he improve? And he does, to go up to 2nd, so it's 1-2 at the moment for the Francos. Here comes De Rosa now then. Through Anthony Nodes he goes. Let's see what De Rosa can do. And across the line goes the McLaren, and he doesn't improve, remains in 7th position. As Catalan, meanwhile, can he improve? No, remains in 3rd position at this point in time. Here comes Paolino Tomaselli. Across the line goes the McLaren, and he goes only up to 16th that time. So he's so far in the cusp of the top 2 at this point in time. We now look at Titkov, who is on the improvement. He's currently in last at the moment. Let's see what the Russian can do. Titkov now then makes his way down the pit straight, and across the line goes the Russian, and he goes up to 18th, gets in front of Sontag there, pushes his teammate down into the last position. Videri going back into the pits. Is everybody done on these runs? I think they are. So at the moment, it is Lopez who's now at the top, from Gamba in 2nd and Catalan in 3rd. So some much needed improvements that time by, it must be said, Ray Hall.
Yeah, indeed. As we see, George Rogue is going to come out on track. He's 14th at the moment, and so he is safe, but it could change still.
Indeed. Obviously, Lopez making a big improvement. Same with Gara. Willows, not quite the improvement he wanted, but still big enough to keep him away from the drop point. Tomaselli on the cusp at the moment. So far in the bottom 6 at the moment, we have Fosbury, Titkov, Sontag, Kupok, Campano, Martinez. Kupok desperate to improve. He's down in 20th at the moment. Again, apologies if you can hear my dog in the background. Sontag and Kupok, the 2 Germans, down on the 10th row of the grid at the moment. and not ideal for the German-speaking world possibly watching. As we had a more with George Roke through the tunnel, and he will be hoping there's no traffic in front of him on this lap. Although he is in 14th, and although that is Q2 status, he'll probably want to improve a little bit more just to be sure he can make it into Q2, because you never know, the drivers behind him could improve. As Roke through the Lapacine, as he'll soon be starting his lap very, 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 very soon. Through into Raskas he will go, flicking it in for the left, and then through the right he will go before making it in towards Anthony Nodes. Through the right, left, and then into the right he will go, and let's see what he can do as Roke is now going to start his lap, and it looks like there's going to be traffic in front of him, so that's not good news. He had to slow down to avoid Byrne there. That looked like Byrne might get held up on his lap there. So that's not going to be good news for the Irishman at all. And ironically, it's George Roke that's going to be holding him up, the man who he made contact with in the first two races. They've kept away from each other so far this season, but you never know. Plenty of time. Those two could end up crashing into each other at some point during the season, but hopefully they don't. As George Roke now then, let's see what his first sector is like. And as a result of the hold-up, he's 4 tenths down on his personal best in the first sector as he makes his way. And in fact, he's got both Renaults behind him. It's not just Evan Byrne, he's also got Jay McKenzie behind him as well. So it's both Renaults that are behind him, as I just saw there on the mirror of his car there. His second sector, again 5 tenths down. I don't think he's going to improve because of that held up he had just there. Coming out the corner now, then heading towards the back. So he'll flick the car through the left, probably a lift of acceleration, and then through into Lapacine. Obviously the barriers are there like in real life 93. Obviously those barriers are a little bit more opened out on both ends now in real life, but back then the barriers were very close to each other at the Lapacine section. On his personal best, 3 tenths down on his personal best. I think I just saw there in the middle sector. Flicking it in through to back. He's got, looks like Roland Motrin behind him at the moment. So Roland might get held up unless he is already on a lap. I'm not 100% sure. Sontag coming out of the chicane there. Through the left, then into the right. And then he will make his way through into Anthony Nodes, flicking it in for the right, left, and then into the right-hander. Let's see what Sontag can do. Across the line will go the Williams driver, and no improvement for him. And it was Motrin, and he hasn't started a lap, so he might get held up on that time. But he is in 4th at the moment, so I would say, at the moment, Motrin is safe to go through into Q2, unless something dramatic happens. Martinez now then, coming across the line. And he does improve, but remains in last position, just a few hundredths off of Campana. Here's Joseph Willows, looking to see if he can find a little bit more improvement as he's down in 11th. Joseph Willows across the line. Let's see what he can do, and he remains in 11th, but improves on his best time, so not ideal for him there then. So we now look at Kupok, who is on an improvement. Can he get out of the drop zone? Across the line goes Kupok, and he does. He goes up to 8th, so a big improvement there. Carr, meanwhile, goes up to 3rd, so an improvement for him there then. Here comes Evan Byrne in the Renault. Did he get held up by Roke? I'm not sure, but he doesn't improve anyway, nor does McKenzie. Campana improves, but only up to 17th. Tomaselli, meanwhile, is in the drop zone. Chung is up on her personal best at the moment as she makes her way through into Lara Scass. Through Anthony Nodes, down the hill she goes, and let's see, can she potentially challenge Lopez? She was down on him in the first 2 sectors, and she goes up to 3rd, so not able to challenge Gamba or Lopez at the moment. Here comes Videri, out of Anthony Nodes he goes, and let's see what the Alfa Romeo driver can do. Videri crosses the line, no improvement for him. Here comes Miklos Gal, who finds himself, where is Gal? In 8th position. I think he's relatively safe, and he doesn't improve. Here comes Roland Motrin. Looks like he may have been held up there by Felix Sontag, and he doesn't improve. Gomez goes up to 11th, so improvement there to 11th and 12th for Alfa Romeo. Gamba got held up there, but he is in 2nd, so he's not got that much to worry about. Out of Anthony Nodes he goes, and Gamba across the line will go the Italian, and he does not improve that time by, as Willows goes back into the pits, hoping that 13th is enough for him. Here comes Chris Chatfield, currently in 14th position. Let's see if he can find some miracle in the last sector. Across the line goes Chatfield, and he does not improve. Of course, he won here in Formula E a couple of seasons ago. His teammate Fosbury didn't improve either that time by. As the 2 runners go back in, we look at De Rosa, who is just making his way through the chicane there. Currently in 9th, his teammate Tomaselli is in the drop zone. I'm not sure if he's on a lap or not. We'll obviously check a little bit later. As in fact, he is on a lap and he is up on his personal best. So Tomaselli could knock Roke down into the drop zone here. Roke could be in a little bit of danger here if he's not careful. De Rosa, meanwhile, crosses the line and does not improve. As we will now go back to Tomaselli, who was up on his personal best. And let's see if he can get out of the drop zone. He is down in 18th position. The star of Spain is going to cross the line. And the Italian, let's see what he can do. And he doesn't get out of the drop zone. He's up into 17th. And I think that's going to be it for him because unless some kind of miracle happens in the pit lane, I think Tomaselli is going to be out of it. So that's unfortunate for Tomaselli. The star of Spain looks like he's not going to make it into Q2 as Titkov is out on track. So there is a few guys who are going to get one more lap in before the session comes to a close. But Titkov could still push Roke out if he's able to get a good lap in. He'll need to perform some miracle in that manner. Because, well, and if he does, it'll be a miracle, it must be said, in that manner to get it into Q2. I mean, there has been a couple of Q2 appearances this season for Mana, mainly from Rosetta Martinez. Whether Maxim can perform that, we'll have to see. As he makes his way through into Raskas, flicking it in for the left, and then flicking it in for the right. As he will now make his way through into Anthony Nodes. He will start his final flying lap very, very soon. He makes his way down the pit straight and he starts his lap now then, as nobody's in front of him to hold him up. The Williams is too far in front to hold him up, so let's see what Titkov can do on this lap now then, as he makes his way up the hill towards the Casino Square. And so around Casino he will go through the right as he makes his way down the hill towards into Mirabeau, and I believe Tomaselli is out of it. As through into Mirabeau he goes, let's see. And he's up on his personal best by 0.2 of a second. So we'll have to see how it's like in the final two sectors. Tomaselli and Fosbury are out of qualifying as they have the pit silver next to them. So both of them are not going to be advancing into Q2. Such a shame for Paolino Tomaselli as Titkov now then makes his way towards the Nouvelle chicane. And he's 1/10 off, so he's lost a bit of time in the middle sector. So at the moment, Roke might be a bit safe. We'll have to wait and see unless he performs some kind of miracle in the last sector. Titkov flicking it in through to back and then into La Piscine through the left, right, and then into the exit of the La Piscine. Let's see what his third sector is like. Anyway, flicking it in through the Raskas now, then flicking it in for the right, and then into the into Anthony Nodes. Let's see what his last sector is going to be like. Maxim Titkov across the line goes the Russian, and he does not improve, remains where he is. So he is out of qualifying in 20th. Is anybody else about to start a lap? Or Roke's on a lap, but we're going to see. I don't know if anybody else is on a lap other than him, but at the moment Roke is not improving, but at the moment he might have just saved himself going through into Q2. Titkov, Fosbury and Tomaselli are out. I think Campano is about to start a lap, so he might just be able to push Roke out if Roke can't find an improvement. And it looks like he's not going to be able to improve as he was still down on his personal best after Sector 2 there. Through into La Piscine, through the right, left, and then into Raskas he will go. And so through the left, then through the right. Let's see what he can out of Anthony Nodes. He's obviously got a Ferrari and a Red Bull behind him. The Ferrari being Laura Chung. The Red Bull, I think, might be Miklos Gal. And I believe it is. It's a white helmet. Roke did improve, actually, in the last sector, but still remains in 16th position. Fideri didn't have enough time to start a lap. Martinez is on a lap, and he is on an improvement. So let's see what he can do as he just comes out of the final chicane. Martinez across the line, and only goes up to 20 ahead of Titkov. So Martinez is out, but Martinez again out qualifying Titkov. Sontag on improvement, and he goes up to 14th. Roke is out.
Ooh.
Roke is out of qualifying. Sontag pushes him out there as he drops to 14th. Here is Willows on an improvement. Let's see if you can finally see some pace from Willows. Across the line goes the Ferrari, and he goes up to second as Carr now goes up to second to making the Mercedes 1-2. Mackenzie didn't have enough time to start a lap. Campana doesn't improve. He is out and remains in 19th position. And we have our bottom six, I believe. So Roke, Tomaselli, Campana, Fosbury, Martinez, and Titkov are out of qualifying. Sontag making it through into Q2 just at the death there. So what did you make of that session, Ray Hall?
Yeah, a really good session so far. With Sontag just getting into Q2.
So the top three were Franco Lopez, Amar Khan, and Joseph Willows, and a reminder that the bottom six were George Roke, Paolino Tomaselli, Lean Campana, Jared Fosbury, Rosetta Martinez, and Maxim Titkov, the two manners looking out the back row of the grid. But the biggest shockers, you have to say, George Roke and Paolino Tomaselli, Ray Hall.
Yeah, indeed. Big shocks there. And it was also very close from 17th to, I think, 13th, I believe. It was pretty close.
Yes, indeed. So, obviously, Q1 is obviously over. Obviously, Yuri just preparing himself for Q2. So just bear with us for a moment, guys, as I will also just get a graphic sorted out for for the Twitter, of course, to take a picture of Lopez, if I can find his lap, of course, where he just before he topped the session, because we didn't really see Lopez too much in this session, it must be said, apart from when he just took the top spot in Q1. So let me just see. In fact, there he is. So bear with me, guys. I might be a bit silent. So obviously, Yuri preparing himself for Q2. So just bear with us. Q2 will start in just a little bit. But leave us your prediction, guys, on who you think will get knocked out in Q2. And just give me a moment, guys. I'm just getting the picture of Lopez. There we are. All the best of pictures in the world. The problem with Monaco, really, is you've got all this shading that's the issue at this point in time. So I don't know if Yuri's put a stream back up or not. I'll double check once I've taken the picture of Lopez. There we go, a better picture there. So look. Oh no, he just closed the stream. That was the wrong indication there. I do apologise. But yeah, so again, guys, leave your predictions on who you think will be making it through into Q2 next time out. And you can be bold as well, because I think traffic will play a bit of a part in Q2. Probably not as much as Q1, but I think it will still play a bit of a part in Q2. Obviously, we will be crossing over into the Portugal-Hungary game, so that will be happening at the same time. We've got this qualifying session going on, so I think there will be a few people multitasking in this stream, it must be said, which is quite understandable. We've had that for the past few days since the Euros have been on, since last Friday, so it's quite normal. So just typing it onto Twitter. Rest of that in. We've got the stream back. I've just got the indication in my ear there, and I've just in time just been able to get that tweet out there. Let me press watch stream, and there we go then. So I think it's back up on your screen. Yes, it is. So let's get on with Q2, guys. Again, leave your predictions in the stream chat on who you think will be going through into the battle for pole position and who you think will be knocked out in Q2, who the bottom 6 are going to be. So that's that, really. So that's that, really, as we wait for the loading screen to come up. And so here we are then in the garages. Just ignore Fosby's car. There is a player car, because that's the only way we can ensure that the 6 drivers who didn't make it into Q2 don't go out on the track. So just ignore Fosby's car in the pit lane there. That's the only way we can guarantee that. But Sontag, it looks like he's going to be the first to go out onto the track like he did in Q1. So a bit of familiarity there, but a good lap in Q1, it must be said. Ray Hall from Felix there to just get himself into Q2.
Yeah, indeed. And it was also very close from 13th to around 19th, just like less than half a second. So, yeah.
Exactly, definitely tight indeed, especially traffic as well. We saw did come into a bit of effect during this session. It definitely affected, I think, in a way, Roke and Tomaselli. But at the same time, when they did have clear runs, Roke and Tomaselli weren't able to pick the pace up, hence why they're down in 17th and 18th. It's probably going to be a tough race for them tomorrow. They'll probably have to hope the strategy goes according to plan for them if they're going to have any chance of getting a decent result here at Monaco. As Sontag comes out of Portier now then, as everybody just tries to make their way onto the track for the start of Q2. Through the tunnel section we will go. And Sontag making his way down towards the Nouvelle chicane. Left, right, and then into the left. As now he'll make his way towards the back, because right next to it is a tobacco store. I think it's still there, I'm not 100% sure. But through La Piscine, the exit of La Piscine we're going through now, as we now make our way towards Rascasse, flicking it in for the left, and then through the right we will go. As now through into Anthony Node through the right, left, and then into the right, and Sontag starting his lap, and he'll be the one setting the benchmark of time for everybody to beat. Everybody is on track, so Sontag should not have any traffic to worry about, and unless other drivers get caught up in other people's traffic, they should be okay as well. during this session, but we'll have to wait and see when everybody finishes their lap to see if anybody did get held up by any cars that were in front of them. As Sontag through the casino square he goes, and he will be approaching the end of Sector 1, which is just after Mirabeau, not like in real life, which is before Mirabeau. So let's see Sontag there, a 23.511 for him in the first sector. Quite a bit down from his from the Sector 1 time that he did in Q1, but it is what it is. Out of Portier he goes now then, through into the tunnel, as he'll soon be quickly approaching the end of Sector 2, which is just coming out of the tunnel actually. The end of the second sector. Just there, low. 41.462 in the second sector there for Felix Sontag. Coming out of the chicane as he'll now make his way towards the back, flicking it in for the left. He'll now make his way through La Piscine for the left, right, and then into the second part of La Piscine. Quite slow through there, trying to get as close to the wall as you can. Don't want to touch him, of course, because it could end up in dramatic consequences, as we saw from Joseph Willows in practice a little bit earlier on. Sontag coming out of Raskas, then into Anthony Nodes through the right, left, and then down the pit straight. Let's see what the benchmarker time is going to be this time for Felix Sontag here in Q2. Across the line into 1:13.316. Here is Franco Gamba in the Red Bull coming out of Anthony Nodes, as Willows meanwhile has topped it actually with a 1:11.777, so he was in front of Gamba, but Gamba beats it by a tenth. He goes to the top. Here comes Gomez, and he slots the third in the Alfa Romeo. Here comes Kirishima De Rosa in the sole McLaren that's left in qualifying, and he goes fastest by 2 tenths ahead of Franco Gamba there. Good time there from Kirishima De Rosa, the star of Monaco last season. Here comes Matteo Catalan. Down the straight goes Catalan. Let's see what the Toro Rosso driver can do, and he slots the fourth with that time. As we look at Motrin now then, who goes through Raskas. Let's see what the Hungarian can do. Out of Portier we go, and speaking of Hungary, they're currently playing Portugal at the moment in the Euros. I think they've just kicked off. Motrin goes into 6th position there. Not the best of times for him. Here comes Chris Chatfield as Mackenzie goes into 5th. Chatfield crosses the line to go into 8th. Here comes Videri in the Alfa Romeo, and he goes to 8th himself. Carr, meanwhile, the man who won here last season, crosses the line, and he slots into 3rd as Lopez now goes fastest by a tenth, and then Gal does by a further tenth. So Gal now to the top. Byrne goes into 6th. Here comes Kupok across the line, and he goes into 10th position. Laura Chung slots into 4th, and there you have it after the first one. So at the moment, Gal in 1st, Lopez in 2nd, but the surprise you have to say so far, Rahul, is Kirishima De Rosa, the star from Monaco last season.
Yeah, indeed. A big surprise. And it was a really good lap by De Rosa. He was quicker than Willows and Gamba in the first 2 sectors. Even in the final sector, he hooked it up. Brilliant. Brilliant lap from De Rosa. And yeah, safe to say, it is going to be very close. Like, looking at Willows, he's 8th at the moment. At the moment, he's not safe. But, I mean, the gaps are pretty big between him and the drop zone.
So far in the drop zone, we have Kupok, Gomez, Motrin, Videri, Chatfield, and Sontag. Of course, Mackenzie, Catalan, and even Willows, as you mentioned there, probably need to go back out and try and see if they can better their current lap times. But Gal at the top with a 1:11.094. Gal, of course, is a previous Monaco Grand Prix winner, having won here in 2015 after a brilliant strategic call from the Red Bull guys, it must be said, to get him the victory ahead of Florian Volker. And so that's how he ended up taking the victory, and his only victory in 2015, it must be said. So far, Gal hasn't had a victory since the 2017 Canadian Grand Prix, nearly 2 seasons ago, it must be said, and he is desperate to try and get back to winning ways if he can. He came close last time out in Spain after a great battle with Laura Chumba. In the end, he just lost out to Laura in the end. Although Gal was catching Laura towards the end of the race, it wasn't enough in the end. Laura able to beat him to the line. Gal, safe to say, having a better season in 2019, it must be said, finding himself in 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship, I believe he is. I believe it's 3rd. Yes, he is 3rd.
Yeah.
He is ahead of Yola Chung, ahead of his teammate as well in the championship. And Gal, it's definitely saying, maybe enjoying this season for once.
Yeah, indeed.
It's Felix Sontag, just as he did a little bit earlier, first on track on this set of runs. And also joining him on the track is Franco Gamba, just like earlier on as well. Gamba looking to see if he can try and get close to his teammate if he can, or maybe even beat him. Maybe try and break into the 1-minute 10s if he can. I think Gal has set the quickest time that we've seen so far in qualifying. I may have to double check on that, but I believe he has set the quickest time of anybody in this session. So that's that really. And so here comes Sontag now then, through into the chicane. As he now approaches to back, flicking it in through the left, getting as close to the wall on the outside as possible. And now through La Piscine will go. And So far in 16th behind Chatfield, he'll be looking to see if he can beat him in this session. That's probably the closest rival he's got. Unless he can perform that performance he saw in Q1, which got him up into 14th. He'll be looking to get as high as possible in the straight if he can, because he knows that obviously here in Monaco, a big chance for a midfield or even a bottom team to get some good points here at Monaco, because it's all about strategy here. You have to be very lucky if you want to overtake here, and you have to have some luck to hope that drivers in front make mistakes as well, because as we know, those barriers have teeth. Sontag through into the casino square he goes then. Through the right he will go. Let's see what his first sector is going to be like, as now we go through into Mirabeau. And let's see what his first sector is like. And he's 1/10 off on his personal best. Need 2/10 up, I should say, on his personal best in the first sector there. Let's see if he can keep it up for the remaining 2 sectors, because that could help him out get himself ahead of Chatfield at this point. Through into the tunnel then goes Felix Sontag, as flat pedal to the metal through the tunnel. Let's see what his second sector is like. Still 1/10 off, lost a little bit of time in the second sector, but only 100th he lost there, so not too much time he lost in the second sector. Let's see how his first sector he performs. Through to back, flicking it in for the left, and then into La Piscine, and going as quick as possible before going through into the second bit of La Piscine, as he'll now go towards Raskas now then. The left, and then through the long right-hander at Raskas now then. Let's see what he's like through Anthony Nodes. And let's see if Felix is able to improve on his 16th position. Down the pit straight goes the German, and across the line he will go. And he goes up to 14th, so around about where he was in Q1. So a big improvement there for Sontag. Gets in front of Videri. Here is Videri's teammate Gomez is holding up Lopez, I believe. Lopez is probably not going to get the best of laps in that, but Videri didn't improve that time. Willows and Garma getting a little bit held up. Garma doesn't improve, and nor does Willows. He remains in 8th. Laura Chung about to start her lap. As we look at Motran now, is desperate to improve. He's currently in the drop zone, down in 13th. Can he find some time in the last sector? The Hungarian now then comes across the line, and he doesn't improve, remains in 13th. Chatfield currently holding up Harmar Carr, it must be said. Carr currently safe. I think he's currently okay at the moment to go through into Q3 anyway. Chatfield now then coming out of Raskas, and then into Anthony Nodes now then. Down the hill he will go. And let's see what Chatfield can do. Across the line, can he improve? And no, remains in 16th. Carr doesn't improve, and nor does De Rosa as expected. Byrne not an improving at the moment. He currently finds himself in 7th, so far could be going through into Q3 at the moment. Could Evan Byrne. He's got Matteo Catalan behind him at the moment. Catalan currently also in the top 10 at the moment, but probably feeling need to improve just to ensure on that. Byrne doesn't improve. Catalan also doesn't improve. They're remaining 7th and 9th respectively. Gal is on the improvement at the moment. He could break into the 1:10, so let's see if Gal is able to do so. Hopefully that traffic in front didn't hold him up. Gal, meanwhile, coming across the line. Can he break into the 1:10? Yes, he can with a 1:10.916. So great time there for Miklos Gal. Here comes Franco Lopez across the line, who got held up and as expected doesn't improve, as Videri didn't improve. In fact, I think he was starting his lap actually. Mackenzie didn't improve either, nor did Kipok, I believe that was. Chung, meanwhile, doesn't improve. Looked like she may have got held up a bit herself. Remains in 4th position. Anybody else on a lap on this one? I don't think they are. So at the moment, Gal improving to a 1:10.9. He's looking very impressive so far, Ray Hall.
Yeah, indeed. He's starting to pick it up, Miklos Gal.
1:10.916. That's the quickest we've seen today, it must be said, here around the streets of Monaco. Are we expecting a much better time to come a little bit later on in Q3? We'll have to wait and see. As Sontag waiting to see if he can get back out, to see if he can better that 14th place in the Williams. So just waiting for a signal for his mechanics basically to get out onto the track, and we'll soon be seeing Sontag going out very, very soon, as we've got just under 5 minutes to go in this session here in Q2. And in fact, it looks like the Alfa Romeo is going to be the first to go out this time by, and it's Gabriel Gomez. So it's not going to be Felix this time by that's going to be out first on this set of runs. It's going to be Gabriel Gomez in the Alfa Romeo, currently down in 12th in the drop zone, along with Ian Fideri. So he'll be looking to see if he can improve, to see if he can get himself into the top 10 and possibly push Mackenzie down into the drop zone as he makes his way through the casino square. And Gomez, of course, obviously next week we have the Indy 500. He is, of course, the defending Indy 500 winner, looking to see if he can defend the crown. I believe he has signed up to the Indy 500, so of course, remember, of course, the top 5 from last season, providing they've signed up, are guaranteed the place in the Indy 500. Thank you, Ian, for reminding me of that typo I made last season with Gabriel Gomez's name by calling him Gomez. But I think he did sign up, so he will be guaranteed a slot in this season Indy 500, looking to see if he can defend the crown next week when we arrive at the Brickyard for the 3rd annual OC Indy 500, as Gomez, but at the moment taking part in Monaco, as he goes through La Piscine through the right, and left-hander he goes. And let's see what Gomez can do now then as he makes his way towards Raskas now then. Through the right he goes, as he'll now make his way towards Anthony Nose for the right, left, and then down the pit straight to start his next flying lap. Let's see if there's any traffic on the exit of the pits. And luckily for him, there isn't. So he should be able to get a clear run to see if he can try and break into the top 10. Through into San Devot he goes. Obviously, that barrier isn't there anymore in real life, but back then it was. It was quite a bit of a trickier San Devot back then, it must be said. A bit of a tighter run. There's not much runoff if you needed to avoid anyone in the first corner like there is in real life. Let's see what Gomez's first sector is like then as he comes out of Mirabeau. Let's see, Gomez, and he is 2 tenths down on his personal best in the first sector, so at the moment it looks like he's not going to break into the top 10 unless he finds some time in the last 2 sectors. Through into Portier now then goes Gomez as he goes through into the tunnel. And let's see then what his second sector is like. I doubt he'll go up, but let's see. And no, he's lost some more time, 3 attempts down in the second sector there. And so now he'll make his way towards the back, flicking it in through the left. And now into La Piscine. Unless he performs some kind of miracle in the last sector, I don't think we'll be seeing Gomez sneak himself into the top 10. As the Brazilian makes his way through Raskas, we saw a floating mechanic there. That's all part of the pit lane there. GP4 being weird at times when it comes to physics, when it comes to pit lane physics. But there we are. As Gomez now then comes down the pit straight, and he does not improve that time by as expected. As Chatfield, Catalan, Videri, and Carr are all doing laps. Willows has got a clear run this time, so let's see if he can improve on that 8th position. As he's currently up on his personal best, but let's see if he can keep it up in the last sector. Willows across the line, let's see what he can do, and he goes up into 3rd, so a big improvement there for Willows. Here comes Sontag. He doesn't look like he's on an improvement, so it looks like he's going to remain in 14th at the moment, unless he performs a miracle in the last sector, and he's not able to, and he remains in 14th position. Some other guys just about to start a lap very soon, some other drivers I should say, as Motrin now then down on his personal best in the second sector. And at the moment, he looks like he's going to get knocked out. This looks like it will be his final lap, of course, due to how much is left on the clock. And it looks like, I don't know if he had some bit of understeer there going into the beginning of Anthony Nose, but across the line, and Motrin is out. Motrin is out. He remains in 13th position. Here comes Garber now then. Let's see if he can find some time in the last sector, which he doesn't. He remains in 6th. Here comes Kirishima De Rosa now then, and the McLaren coming down the pit straight. And across the line will go De Rosa. And he does not improve, remains in 4th position. As we now look at Chatfield, he's up on his personal best in the middle sector there. So let's see if he can get out of 16th position on what will be his final run in qualifying. Coming out of Anthony Nodes, heading down the pit straight. Sontag, of course, I believe is out as well because he obviously finishes lap. Chatfield goes up to 11th as Catalan goes up to 8th position. Chatfield, of course, out, but a good time.
Oh, he missed
Chatfield,
out.
Nonetheless.
He missed out by 1,000.
Yeah, as Videri, meanwhile, does improve, but he's out as well. Remains in 15th, but improves on his best time. Here is Byrne. He's being held up by the traffic at the moment from Sontag, I believe. But it will be Sontag because Campana's not in this session. So Byrne doesn't look like he's improving, but at the moment he will make it into Q3 along with his teammate Jay McKenzie unless somebody in the drop zone pushes them down. Byrne didn't improve that time. We looked at Chung there, who crosses the line, and she doesn't improve, remains in 5th position. Gal doesn't improve, remains on 1 minute 10.916. Here comes Franco Lopez. Can he improve on his time in the last sector? No, remains in 2nd place. As Jay McKenzie is up on his personal best. Can he improve across the line? And he can, but he remains in 10th position. So we now look at Kupok, who is on improvement, so he could still push McKenzie out. Kupok across the line, and
he's done it.
So. Kupok into
and
the
he's
top
on the
10
same
there.
time. Same time as Evan Byrne.
Just the same time as Evan Byrne. Byrne, of course, getting knifed, but McKenzie has been pushed out of Q2 as the checkered flag is now out. McKenzie, unfortunately, just missing out of Q3. Byrne, the only Renault that's going through into Q3 in the end there. But Kupok, just at a death there, just able to scrape his Toro Rosso into the Q3 and ensures that both Toro Rossos are going to be going through into Q3 because his teammate Catalan finished the session in 8th position. But as a result of that, Gal finished at the top with Lopez in 2nd and Willows rounding out the top 3. As we will soon be cutting away to the menu screen. We're going to be viewing the session times and facts of Gal top, Lopez 2nd and Willows in 3rd. And the 6 drivers who are not going through are Jay McKenzie, Chris Chatfield, Gabriel Gomez, Roland Motrin, Andre Videri and Felix Sontag. So we have our top 10 for Q3. Obviously, Yuri having to do some stuff before we get into Q3. But what did you make of that session overall, Rahul?
Yeah, pretty great as well. Also, the final runs, they decided everything on who's getting eliminated or not. just like in Q1.
Indeed, yeah. Monaco definitely delivering so far as it has done in real life in qualifying so far. Hopefully, we'll be in for a very good Q3 as well. But Miklos Gal, you have to say, first person to break into the 1 minute 10 today. He's doing very well. Looks like he could be a contender for pole position.
Yeah, he won't be the only one. So, yeah, he is a strong contender, but he won't be the only one still.
Indeed. And, well, Gal will be hoping he does take pole position because that could give him a confidence boost into trying to get his first victory in nearly 2 seasons, of course. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, his last win coming at Canada back in 2017. So he'll be looking to try and end his win drought if he can here in Monaco, if he is able to take pole position, and hoping to try and convert it if he's able to, and hopefully have a good strategy as well. Just going to put the results up on Twitter for you guys to see whilst we wait for Yuri to sort out Q3. And so leave your predictions, guys, on who you think is going to take pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix and what the rest of the top 10 you believe is going to look like. I think there is a few contenders. I'm personally going to go with Miklos Gal personally for pole position. But who are you going to go for, Ray Hall, before the session starts?
I'm probably going to go for Laura Chung.
Okay, I think we've got the stream back up now because I've just got the indication from Yuri, and we have done. So I think you guys will be able to see it very soon. Let me just put the things up. So before we get underway, unless Yuri wants to press OK whilst I do this. So it's obviously sunny, of course. We weren't expecting any rain, of course, for the session. I probably forgot to mention that at the beginning of the show, but I do apologise for that. So also, I think one other guy we need to keep an eye on in qualifying as well is possibly Franco Lopez. He has been in that little group as well, so maybe he could be a threat for pole position. And who knows, really. I think all 3 of the top teams have a chance to get pole position, but you never know, of course. Anything can happen here in Monaco. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Just getting those results. I think, are we in the garages at the moment? We are in the garages, so bear with me, guys. We might see somebody go on track before I finish this off, so just bear with me. I'm just nearly finished. Just putting the remaining in. And 2 more names now. Motrin, Videri, and Sontag. And there we go. So that's up now on Twitter for everybody to see. And as we were speaking, Lopez was the first guy to come out onto the racetrack. So it will be very interesting to see who gets the pole position. I don't think traffic is going to be too much of a problem in this session because there's only 10 cars left. It might be a little bit if anybody's stuck behind a midfield car, but I don't think it's going to affect it too much in this session. We'll have to wait and see on that, of course. But we ride on board with Lopez. It just goes around Portier. Could be a contender for pole position, and as mentioned earlier, they do have the special Niki Lauda tribute halo on the cars they did in real life, because of course in real life prior to that weekend Niki Lauda sadly passed away, so that tribute is there. As you can see, it says Niki, we miss you, which is a nice touch from Mercedes. And said, of course, he was a big part of Mercedes, instrumental in getting Lewis Hamilton into the team. And basically made them the team that they are today. So he obviously made a big contribution to that. And of course, we do miss Niki indeed. In fact, I do have a photo of him up on my wall, actually, which was actually signed, in fact. And it's actually signed. I've even got a certificate on the back of it to prove that it is a legit signed photo from him. So quite lucky to have that, to be honest with you. But anyway, Lopez just started his lap. We just see there. He just goes out of Santa up there as he makes his way up the hill now then towards Casino. To the left-hander he goes. Casino, and then into the second part of the Casino Square before making his way down towards Mirabeau, and then just after Mirabeau we'll be approaching the end of Sector 1. So let's see what Lopez's time is going to be after Sector 1, and it's a 22.6, I believe that says, in the first sector. So so it looks like a decent first sector there for Franco Lopez. Let's see what his second sector is going to be like, which is just coming out the exit of the tunnel. He's just in the tunnel now then. He's just come out of Portier. Coming out of the tunnel, let's see what his second sector is like. A 40.107. So that's his second sector there. Of course, Lopez is going to be setting the benchmark of time for everybody to beat in Q3. Through into the back, flicking the car in for the left, and then into Piscine, the La Piscine corner now then. To the right, and then into the left-hander he goes, getting as close to those walls as possible, as he'll now make his way into Raskas through the left, and then flicking it in through the right, and then into Anthony Nodes. We will now go down then, through the right, left, and then down the pit straight, and across the line now then, we'll go Franco Lopez. What is the lap time going to be? And it's a 1 minute 10.6 there for Franco Lopez, as Chung is 4 tenths off him there at the end there to go second. Q-Park goes to third. Here is Q-Park's teammate Catalan, is a little bit further behind, in fact, as he makes his way through La Piscine. In fact, that's the quickest time we've seen in qualifying so far, 1 minute 10.6. Obviously, Gal did a 1 minute 10.9 in Q2 a little bit earlier on. So that is the quickest we've seen. 3 tenths Lopez beat Gal's Q2 time there. As Catalan now then comes across the line, and he slots into fourth behind teammate Q-Park. Here comes Franco Gamba. What can he do about the other Franco? And he doesn't do much. He's 1 second off. In fact, he's behind Q-Park. So another good time there for Franco Gamba. Here comes Evan Byrne across the line, and he slots to fourth. Gal only third. I don't know if he got held up there. Willow's third that time by. As Carr goes to fourth. Here comes De Rosa across the line, and he goes, where did he go? Into sixth position that time by. As is that everybody who's done a lap there? I can't quite see. I think that is everybody that time. So at the moment, Lopez at the top by 4 tenths of a second ahead of Chung. But so far, a very good time from Lopez.
Yeah, pretty good lap from Lopez at 1 minute 10.6. Pretty good lap. And also 4 tenths ahead of clear of Lord Chung. So, yeah, brilliant lap from him and good start.
Indeed, definitely. As Q-Park making his way down towards the Toro Rosso garage, currently finding himself in sixth position. So, in fact, a good session so far for Q-Park, and he desperately needs to turn around because it has been a frustrating season for the German rookie. Currently finding himself in front of De Rosa, Byrne, and even Gamba as well. Gamba probably frustrated with that lap. He'll definitely need to find a lot more time in his second flying lap and hope that there's no traffic in front. There was a bit of traffic on Gal and Willows' lap, so maybe we could see a little bit more to come from them a little bit later on. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Catalan so far being the one that's going to be rounding off the top 10, but of course we have just over 10 minutes to go. Still plenty of time for people to improve as he gets wheeled back into his garage alongside teammate David Q-Park, who of course is also in this session. So let's see what these guys can do on their second flying lap as everybody's in pits. So we just wait for another car to go by, I should say. Yeah, just under 10 minutes now to go in this session. The Toro Rosso mechanics, I think, getting prepared with Q-Pot's car, I believe. I don't know unless that was Catalan mechanics. I'm not 100% sure there. But anyway, Lopez currently top with Chung in second and Willows in third. So 2 Ferraris currently following Lopez at this point in time. In fact, the top 4 consisting of Mercedes and Ferraris. Ferrari being in the middle of the 2 Mercedes is there. And then it's Gal in 5th position just outside, and Gamba desperately needing to improve. The 2 Red Bulls currently just over a second behind Franco Lopez. And it's a Ferrari who's going out, and it's Laura Chung, the person who was 4 tenths off of Lopez earlier on. And she'll be looking to see if she can try and get a clean lap in and try and see if she can dislodge the Mercedes from the top of the timing sheets in this battle for pole position. As Lopez, speaking of which, he's actually gone out on the track along with David Q-Park. So a few guys now going out onto the racetrack as Chung makes her way through the casino square. She'll now make her way down towards Mirabeau, making it in through the right-hander, and now she'll make her way towards the Grand Hotel hairpin. And now into Portier she will go before heading into the tunnel and preparing her lap very soon. Lots of cars going out onto the track, including Gal, who'll be hoping there's no traffic on his run this time by. Catalan just going out on the track, and some other drivers going out as well. There's still some movement going on in pit lane as we speak. As Chung goes through La Piscine, as now piscine standing for swimming pool in French, for anybody wondering. I did learn a bit of French in school, although I'm not 100%. I don't 100% know the language that well. I only know certain phrases and words in French. But anyway, Chung crossing the line to start her second flying lap as she makes her way through into Saint-Devote. Up the hill she'll go now then towards the Casino Square. She'll soon be approaching. And now through into Casino Square she goes. And then into the second part of Casino Square. And let's see what her first sector is like once she comes out of Mirabeau, flicking it in through Mirabeau. Let's see what her first sector is like. And she's 3 tenths down off of Lopez in the first sector and down on her personal best as well in the first sector. So let's see how her second sector fares as she rounds Portier. Getting as close to the wall on the outside as possible. Through into the tunnel. As now she'll be making her way down towards the seafront chicane. 7 temps down at the moment on Lopez. So at the moment she's not looking like she's going to be on an improvement. But unless she performs some kind of miracle, I think she's going to remain in second position. Flicking it in through to back there and then into the La Piscine. So through the right and then into the left she will now go. She will now make her way towards Raskas now then. Flicking it in through the left and then flicking it in through the right. And now into Anthony Nodes. Down the hill she will go, and let's see what she can do. I don't think she's going to improve, but either way, and she doesn't by over a second. In fact, here comes Lopez. Can he improve? And no, he can't by 0.2 of a second. Here comes David Kupop. Doesn't look like he's on an improvement across the line, and no, he isn't. Here comes Gal across the line. He improves, but only up, but doesn't improve on his position. Carl, meanwhile, is up on his personal best, but so far not up on his teammate. Let's see what Carl can do on his lap anyway, as he makes it through Raskas. Through Anthony Nodes he will go, as he'll now make his way down the hill. And here comes Armar Carr now then. Across the line he will go. And he goes up to second. So far it's a Mercedes front row lockout. He goes up into second position. Here comes Matteo Catalan now then in the Toro Rosso. Through Anthony Nodes he will go. Making his way down the straight. And Catalan crosses the line and he improves but remains in 10th position. Kirishima De Rosa remains in 7th, no improvement. As Gamba is up on his personal best. But not up on Lopez at this point. So let's see what Garber can do. He's all the way down in 9th, so he desperately needs to improve. Garber, meanwhile, across the line he will go. And he goes up to 3rd. So he gets himself behind the 2 Mercedeses at this point in time now then. As we try and look to see if anybody else is on the lap. I think you missed Willows. I think, Yuri there. I think you missed Willows. I think... no, in fact, he's just pit. I must have confused the 2 Ferraris there. But Byrne is out on track. He's only just come out onto the track, in fact. And he's going to be starting his lap now then. Byrne currently down in 9th position as he makes his way through Saint-Devote with just over 5 minutes to go in this session. Up the hill it will go now then towards Casino Square. And so flicking it in through the first part of Casino. Then flicking it in for the right. And now making his way down towards into Mirabeau. And let's see what his first sector is going to be like. And he is down on his personal best in the first sector. 6 attempts off of Lopez's time in the first sector there. And he is currently down on his personal best. Byrne currently in 9th position ahead of Matteo Catalan by nearly 3/10 of a second. Through into the tunnel now. Then goes Byrne as he'll now make his way towards the end of sector 2. And he's still down on his personal best over a second now behind Lopez in the second sector as he makes his way through the seafront chicane. And now making his way towards to back, flicking it in through the left, then into the chicane. And so now through into the right and left-hander he will go. He'll now make his way towards Raskas now then, flicking it in for the left and then through the right. I don't think he's going to improve unless he performs some kind of miracle in the last sector, but let's see. And now then making his way down the pit straight and across the line will go the Irish veteran. And he does not improve. He remains in 9th position as Lopez has just come back out to see if he can improve on that 1 minute 10.6. I don't know if anybody else is on a lap whilst Byrne was out. I don't think they are because they've all got pit symbols next to them. So we now look at Lopez. I don't know why Byrne came out quite late there. It's a bit bizarre there from Evan Byrne, but it is what it is. I don't think we didn't have any yellow flag indicators, so I guess he was just waiting around in the garage. So. Anyway, so through into the right-hander as now we go through into Portier. Goes Lopez. As he'll now make his way through the tunnel. And now making his way towards the chicane. So far 3/10 out of teammate Carr. Let's see if he can try and get... I think everywhere we get one more flying lap in to see if they can try and beat Lopez. But at the moment it looks like it's going to be 2 poles in a row for Lopez. Unless somebody can stop him. Through into La Piscine goes Lopez. As he flicks it in through the chicane there. And so will now make his way towards Raskas, flicking it in for the left and then through the right. As he will now make his way towards Anthony Nodes. And now he'll start what we believe is going to be his final flying lap. And I believe it will be as Lopez now then makes his way towards Saint-Devote. As he'll now make his way up the hill towards the casino section. So let's see what he can do after the first sector, which is just after Mirabeau. Through the second part of Casino, now making his way down towards Mirabeau, he will go. And let's see if he's up on his personal best. So 22.6 he needs to try and beat, and he's 800ths off in the first sector. So at the moment, Lopez is not going to improve on his pole time over 1 minute 10.6. We'll have to wait and see. Chung getting held up in traffic, so it looks like she's not going to be able to improve on 4th position. That's a disaster for her indeed. as Lopez now then coming out of the tunnel, approaching the end of the second sector, and 2 tenths down on his personal best this time by. So, yeah, it looks like Lopez is not going to be able to improve. Chong, of course, getting held up by Catalan, as now flicking it through to back. Lopez and into Lapicine for the final time today, it must be said. Well, I say final time today, final time today in terms of going flat out, well, going full pedal to the metal to get a lap in. Here comes Lopez through Raskas now then, and now into Anthony Nodes he'll go. Let's see if he can possibly try and find some time. I don't think he will, but let's see anyway. The championship leader now then is going to cross the line, and yep, he doesn't improve. He doesn't improve by nearly 4 tenths of a second. Chung getting held up. I don't think she's going to improve. I think she's going to remain in 4th position across the line. And no, she doesn't. She remains in 4th. Here comes Miklos Gau. Can he improve? No, remains in 5th. So such a shame for him. Gamba will be starting his lap very soon. And we're hoping there's no traffic. Willows is currently up on his personal best, but not up on Lopez, according to that graphic there. Let's see where Willows can go. He is currently 5th. Can he possibly try and beat his teammate, or possibly try and split the two Mercedes if he can? Wasn't able to see the digits there quite enough, but let's see. Willows now down the pit straight and across the line goes the 2-time champion. And he lost time in the last sector there. So that's a surprise. He remains in 5th position. Not the best of qualifying for Ferrari. Kupok up on his personal best at the moment. He finds himself in 7th. Can he get himself ahead of Gal? That's a good question. In fact, he did make an improvement. In fact, it said for some reason he didn't. Willows went up to 5th. And Kupok improves, remains in 7th position. Willows goes up to 5th. I do apologise there. So we look at Carr, who's not improving on his personal best at the moment. But let's see what the second sector is like. Across the line. And no, isn't able to improve. De Rosa across the line, no improvement for him, remains in 8th position. Catalan, let's see what he can do. I don't think he's improving. He's down on his personal best. Flicking it through, as he'll now make his way through into Anthony Nodes. Down the straight now then goes Matteo Catalan, and across the line will go the Italian. And he does not improve, as Franco Gama is the only one left to do a lap, but he's down on his personal best, unless I saw somebody was crossing the line there, but it didn't look like that person improved. I don't think Gama's going to improve unless he performs a miracle in the last sector, so let's see. Coming out of Anthony Nodi will go. Down the pit straight goes the Italian. He's currently in 3rd, and he remains in 3rd position. So there you have it then. After all of that, for the second, unless is that, no, we've got a Renault out. In fact, I do apologise. Evan Byrne again being late out onto the track, but he's down on his personal best in the first sector there, and 3 tenths down on Lopez. So unless Evan performs a miracle in the last sector, it does look like it's going to be 2 pole positions in a row for Franco Lopez, as Byrne now makes his way through into the tunnel, as he'll now come towards the end of the second sector, and he's up this time on his personal best in the middle sector, so he seems to have found some time, but only 500ths off, it looks like, from his personal best in the second sector there, as he flicks it through into the back, making his way into La Piscine through the left, right, and then into the second part of the corner, as now he will make his way towards Raskas now then. And so let's see what Byrne can do. Flicking it in through the final corner and onto the pit straight now then goes Evan Byrne, and let's see what his second sector is like. And he did not improve. He lost time in the final sector. So there you have it then. It is Franco Lopez for the second race in a row who's going to take pole position for tomorrow's Monaco Grand Prix. And it's an all Mercedes front row lockout. So we're now going to see that pole position time. So I'm now going to shut up and allow you to see the pole position time from Franco Lopez here at Monte Carlo. That is how Franco Lopez took pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix tomorrow. A fantastic lap indeed, and the quickest we've seen here at Monaco today. A 1 minute 10.628. 3 tenths quicker than teammate Armar Carr. Can he get his first ever Monaco Grand Prix win, or can Armar Carr try and jump him at the start and possibly try and jump him on strategy and see if he can become the third driver to make it 2 wins in a row in Monaco to join the list of Florian Volko and Will Nella. But here is the top 10 then. Franco Lopez on pole position with Armar Carr in second, Franco Gamba in third, with Laura Chung in fourth, Joseph Willows in fifth, Miklos Gau in 6th position, with David Kupok in 7th, Kirishima De Rosa in 8th, Evan Byrne in 9th, and Matteo Catalan completes the top 10. So what did you make of that qualifying session overall, Ray Hall?
Yeah, pretty interesting qualifying session. Lopez with a absolute monster lap, getting that pole position, 1 minute 10.6, pretty unstoppable lap. Franco Gabba pretty close to the Mercs, third, nearly got a front row start, but yeah, it will depend on strategy. Strategy will be the key to this race.
And of course, the start tomorrow, which Carr will be hoping to see if he can try and get the jump on Lopez. But if he can't, he'll have to rely on strategy indeed, because I don't think there's any team orders at Mercedes. Let's put it that way. In fact, I don't think there's any in GP4 as a whole. But it will be interesting to see what it will be like in terms of strategy and who can keep their nerve around Monaco, especially given the barriers have teeth. It'll be very interesting to see if many of the drivers can keep it out of the walls, and how many will finish the race tomorrow, whether we'll have plenty or whether we'll have a few retirements. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But until then, I've been JW97. Of course, we're not commentating tomorrow, of course, because we let George do the commentary for the highlights. But until then, I'll be JW97. He's been Ray Hall, and we will see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. BST for the 78-lap Monaco Grand Prix, the first of 3 Crown Jewel races this season. But until then,